how's it going out there? This is Bob on Bob's Blues in the News, coming into you directly from Atlanta, Georgia. Well, sorry, a little bit slow coming in, but I had that little tune I was listening to Build Paradise. One tune I'm working on, I haven't released it yet. I'm almost finished it, but I mean, that's what it's all about, right? I mean, if you get down to brass tacks, it's all about building paradise here on earth. It's bringing the sacred, listen to me, honey, bringing the sacred down from the heavens into the profane, which is here on earth, because there's a lot of profane that's going on here on earth, and, making it righteous again. So that's the idea, is to make it righteous again. And I tell you, the world is split in two right now. Honey child, I just don't know what we're going to do. There's so much fighting, so much upheaval, so much chaos, so much corruption, so much fraud, so much hate. Oh, and it's maybe too late to fix it. I hope not. I keep on praying. I keep on doing what I think I should be doing to keep the good Lord happy. I figure if you keep the good Lord happy, he'll make you happy. It's as simple as that. But a lot of people don't get it. They think they got to do what they think you ought to got to do. And the way they feel, it's all about emotion and about power and greed and lust, all those things that tear the earth apart, tear the planet apart, and make it hard to live here on this beautiful place. I mean, it's springtime here now in Atlanta, Georgia. I talk with my southern accent. I'm sorry, but no. I mean, I can change my accent. I was born in the South. I was born actually in Richmond, Virginia. But I've lived in Europe. I lived around. So it really depends on who I'm talking to. Right now I'm talking to you, but I don't know if you're Southern or Northern or Yankee or what. But my accent is what it is today, but it might be different tomorrow. But I'm a little crazy anyway. But I'm happy because I just got over my Passover, because I'm Jewish, and that was very elevating. The whole Passover experience was elevating, and that's what we need to do, is to elevate the planet. And that's why I think whatever religion you're in, it should be love and peace, should be the motto, and, getting along with everyone. There's so much out there in religion that says you have to hate the other person. If you're not Christian and you don't believe in Jesus, you're going to hell. Yeah. And then the jihadists will say, well, if you don't believe in Muhammad and eating like we say you eat and do what we say you do, then you're going to hell, And then, other people will say the same thing. If you don't think like I think, you're going to hell. You don't know what you're talking about. You got to realize there are many roads to heaven. There are many ways you can get to heaven. That's not only one way, but every way you go, it has to be a righteous way, meaning love, peace, harmony. Those things are important, and they have to be a priority, and bringing God down to earth, bringing the spiritual down to earth. And yeah, love is the answer. I mean, that's simply said. And, a lot of people abuse the word love because that means getting in bed with some lovely chick. And which is all lust, right? I mean, you should get in bed to make babies. I mean, that's, maybe you can have a little pleasure too. Hey, you know what I mean? I'm not a priest. I'm not a rabbi. I'm just Ben Adam. I'm a son of Adam. You know what I mean? And I believe in getting back to the garden. I mean, before Adam made the big mistake of eating that apple. I mean, I painted a picture not too long ago, and I got to hang on my wall about Adam and Eve and how, it all started there. If we just listen to, the divine and do what he says, if it says don't eat from the apple tree, don't eat from that apple tree. Some people say it wasn't really an apple tree, it was some kind of other tree, but whatever, you have to believe in a higher authority. And even though Trump is crazy and he shoots from the hip and he's not very diplomatic when he writes on X everything, at least he's got a big heart. You know what I mean? And he mentions God often. So I'll look over those mistakes he makes from the way he talks or the way he writes on X or whatever it is. His vision is true. Now, I don't agree with every step he makes. Every step you make, I'll be watching. That's a good tune. But, yeah, because this thing was a ceasefire today. What's going on with the ceasefire? You can't trust Iran, the RGC. And you can't trust Pakistan. And they have in Pakistan, negotiate between the United States and Iran. And it's not going to work. Trump said, well, you're supposed to let us go use the Strait of Hormuz, and, it's not going to happen. And they say, oh, well, we can't keep our part of the bargain because Israel is still attacking Lebanon. Good for Israel. Israel needs to, crush all its enemies when it has the chance. You can't have any mercy on evil. People think you can have mercy on evil and get away with it. And there is an evil out there, and it's growing every day. And the world seems to be, like I said, splitting in two. You have the dark side and the side of light. And it's basic. You've seen it in Star Wars. You've seen it in a lot of movies. You read it in a lot of books, how you have the, Darth Vader on one side and the side of light on the other. You have the demons on one side or the angels on the other. You have, righteous people on one side and the jihadists and heathens on the other. I mean, pick your side, but be careful because you can be fooled. And look at Tucker Carlson, Marjorie Trader Green, as Trump would say, and Candace Owens. Those people started off right on the right side, but then the question of Israel came up, and heaven forbid you like Israel. Heaven forbid you support Israel, who are the chosen people of God, really. I mean, not in a secular way, but in a spiritual way. They are here to set an example for the rest of the world because they're the ones who first got the Torah, right? The laws of God. You read the Bible, right? And as simple as that. You might not agree with everything they do, but you have to realize they have a special place on the planet. And once those people are kicked out of society, civilization, that whole civilization crumbles. Look what happened in Babylon. Look what happened in Rome. Look what happened in Germany and other places. Once the Jews were kicked out, not long afterwards, the whole culture, civilization crumbles. And the same thing could happen here in the United States if the Democrats get back in power with the Democrats we have in power now, because they're all socialists, most of them, except Federico, people like that. And they are, part of the red-green rebellion alliance, which is totally anti-God, totally anti-Semitic, totally anti-Zion. And you can't be anti-Semitic, anti-Zion, and expect God to like you. I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. You can be Christian, you can be Muslim, whatever. But the Jews have a special place. And that's the true litmus test. Once you turn and you put your hate, I mean, this hate is palpable. It's not just a little criticism of Israel or the politics or whatever. This is a palpable hate. They hate the idea of Israel. They hate the Jews. Maybe they really think the Jews were responsible for the death of Jesus, whatever. That whole story I don't want to get into. I mean, there is a difference between Judaism and Christianity. I mean, basically, but I like to think we have a culture in the West that's Judeo-Christian, that we can take both value systems, mesh them together, and it works fine. We can discuss whether Jesus was divine or not divine. But whatever religion you're in, you should be able to compromise, to get along with the other side. Because we all should want a righteous, loving, peaceful, prosperous world. But if you have so much hate against the other, it's not going to work. And, Trump is right now, he's really fighting against his hate. There's a group of people in the Old Testament called Amalek, and they keep on popping up. And they are spiteful people. They hate God, and they like to take advantage of the weak. And they'll do anything to spite God, basically. And they first came up in the Bible. You remember when we just celebrate Passover, right? When the Jews left Egypt. Well, right after they got off to Egypt and started walking through the desert, these guys showed up. And it was a big battle, and Moses had to get on a hill. He gave him hell. That's what he did. He got on a hill and raised his staff, as long as his arm was raised with his staff, the Israelites were able to defeat the Amalekites. And we have Amalekites today, the IRGC Amalekites. In fact, there's a famous story in the Bible about Esther, Queen Esther, how there was this one guy named Haman. His money is very close to Hamas, which basically in Arabic means, or in Hebrew means violence. And he was, an Amaleki, just like the IRGC and Ayatollahs are Amalekis, because they say they are for the right side. And they might say they're religious and they're for God, but really they are for the devil, whatever that means. I don't believe there is a separate entity called the devil. I believe God is everywhere and everything, but he uses man's free will to produce these demons. So, you can produce a demon if you feel like you have to be demonic, right? You can produce angels if you feel like you need to produce angels. You all have a lot of power because you are made in the image of God. Okay? But I'm just saying there's a lot at play, more and more so today. And the world is definitely split in two. So just make sure you know what side to be on, It's not that difficult if you take away your ego. I know people say, oh, Trump's got such a big ego. But it's true. He's not the most humble guy. But he's got a big heart. And because his heart is so big, it decreases the negativity of his ego. The way I see it, anyway. Anyway, this is Bob on Bob's Blues and the news. I hope you enjoy the rest of the day. It's TGIF Day. Thank God it's Friday, and enjoy the weekend. Like I said, the weather is nice, very nice. And just remember, love and peace is the answer, not hate. But you have to hate the haters, and you have to speak up against those who hate. Now, the only thing I really hate are the haters. So I guess even you can hate in the right way and get away with it. But I mean, all individuals are children of God. Let's face it, we are all children of God, and we should think that way, that even the worst can reform and we can all be redeemed. Amen, brother and sisters. See you later. Bye, Blues in the News, and I'll just go on out with that little tune I started with. I'm working on to build paradise.